Hello, denizens, and welcome once again to Science Tech Stand-Up. We are not sponsored because no one wants to sponsor us. We know electric cars are coming. The Canadian government even mandated an end to the sale of new gasoline cars and light trucks by 2035. However, it would have been nice if they could have also included a timetable for when the grid will be updated and how many charging stations will be installed across the country, especially around Great Slave Lake or Port aux Basques, Newfoundland. And for those of you bereft of Canadian geographic knowledge, both locales are in the middle of fucking nowhere. And what's the plan for cleaner, cheaper lithium battery manufacturing and disposal? A field full of abandoned electric cars will be more toxic to the planet than existing stored nuclear waste. It would just be nice to get some details when governments make pronouncements like this. And what about the K-Pro effect? If you don't know, and most of you probably don't, K-Pro was a successful portable PC company back in the 1980s that used CP/M as its operating system. They were late to the Microsoft MS-DOS revolution, and so when they announced a new MS-DOS K-Pro computer ahead of time, people stopped buying their CP/M boxes, squeezing cash flow, and it wasn't long before K-Pro went bankrupt. When will the tipping point between gasoline and electric cars happen? When will the buying panic start? Will car makers have sufficient stock? If you think the present situation is bad with the chip shortage, just wait till your entire car is nothing but chips. When it's no longer profitable for oil companies to have gas stations, will the government end up having to spend our tax dollars to operate them for X number of years at a loss just to mitigate the transition? And how many years will diesel have to be available in some shape or form for 18-wheeler transport trucks? If the passenger car business is eviscerated, will there be enough profit in the long-haul business to make it worthwhile for oil companies? What happens to classic cars and collectors? The government is calculating that on average, people will only hold on to their cars for 15 years before buying a new car. They want us to make our next car an electric one. Well, that's not illogical, but as I mentioned earlier, details were scarce. And what of the evil sons of bitches oil companies? What of them? Will the profits from overpriced beef jerky and stale sandwiches from their Quickie Mart kiosks be enough to replace gasoline profits? Only time will tell. But yeah, I would say yeah. In shocking Apple news, pundits are predicting that there will be new, larger screen iMacs based on more powerful Apple silicon chips coming sometime. That is utterly earth-shattering. Where do these people get their leaked information from? I don't know. I certainly would not stick my neck out to predict that Apple will be bringing out bigger iMacs with more powerful Apple silicon. This prediction is just nuts. I don't think I could even have made that up. Yet, there are hundreds of YouTubers out there bravely predicting this and millions of Apple fans eating this up. I'm clearly on the wrong side of this business. And finally, I wanted to talk about the reaction to the billionaires going into space. I would say that based on just social media posts, that the efforts by Musk, Branson, and Bezos they're being treated as massive follies of the super rich for any number of reasons. Who cares about space? We have more important things to worry about here on Earth. Maybe these billionaires should be paying taxes to support the poor rather than these vanity projects. 3 white men seeing who has the biggest dick, and so on. Notwithstanding their reputations here on Earth for good or for bad, I look on them as the Medicis of space. If you haven't heard of the Medicis, they were a massively wealthy Italian banking family that wielded significant power in Italy, actually installing their own popes. They were most famous for creating an environment in which art and humanism flourished, and the resulting product of that was the Renaissance, which you've all heard of, or at least seen the paintings you'd recognize on napkins. Where would we be without the Renaissance? I don't think it's that far-fetched to claim that Musk, Branson, and Bezos have been responsible for a new space renaissance with incredible technical achievements and advancements that without their vision and money and connections would probably not have happened. Musk's accomplishments have been the most visible. Now we have Branson's recent successful poke at the edge of space, and soon Bezos's Blue Origin spacecraft effort, which, to be honest, really does look like a giant penis. But didn't Michelangelo carve statues with penises? Yeah, well, very tiny ones. But so, there, we're still talking Renaissance. I'm a space nut. I'm glad this is happening. Yes, there are people with tons of money. That isn't going to change. If they want to pop into space for a quick look and see, I don't care. I could certainly envision the next step being the construction of a more tourist-friendly space station, and finally all the rich will move into space and leave the rest of us here on Earth fending off tornadoes and heat waves caused by our own wanton disregard for the planet. Wait a second, I've seen this plot before. Till next time, denizens. Be seeing you, I think.